Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. First off, I want to apologize. I know it has been a minute and I truly apologize for that. I will be rolling out more content here on this page, valuable content. I'm not here to waste your time, okay? And I thank everyone for sticking with me, staying with me, okay? Life has been lifing, but I am managing and making sure that I'm putting you guys up there right under pepper, okay? So please look forward to more videos coming out. Also, let me know down in the comments if there's any topics that you want me to touch on, because here we can really discuss a little bit more, have a close-knit community where we can talk about all things, all topics, flight attendant realm, other realms, anything you want to talk about. But anyways, in today's video, I want to discuss with you guys life as a line holder, some of the differences from being on reserve to being a line holder, just basically everything I'm experiencing. First off, let's talk about how I've been on reserve since I started with the company. So that's a year and 10 months. Finally, I'm a line holder, okay? So by the grace of God, and I'm so thankful that I am finally a line holder. Honestly, I've been so used to being on reserve that I've just accepted it, and being a line holder was just so far out of reach that I just stopped thinking about that dream, and I just tried to make reserve life work for me as best as possible, which it has been working for me because I live in my base. When you live on your base and you're on reserve, it's so much better. The only thing is that you are at crew support's beck and call. And we're gonna get into that in a second. However, I'm finally a line holder, and I've been a line holder since October. It's now November, and I'm also a line holder in December. So basically, it's permanent. I'm a line holder unless I specifically request to be on reserve, then I will be on reserve. Really quickly, let's talk about some of the benefits of being a line holder. So first off, you can be more specific with your schedule as far as days off, who you want to bid with, who you don't want to bid with, if you want to get that specific. I'm just listing some of the things. If you want to start in the morning, if you want to end your trips early, you can actually pick what trips you would like to work. Now, everything that you're putting in the system which you're bidding for, bidding is essentially another word for requests. So these are all requests. Absolutely nothing is guaranteed. And you basically rank your requests in order from 1 through 7. You want to be as picky as possible in your first option, and then less picky as you go down the list, right? So for my base, I'm in Dallas-Fort Worth, and there is 166 line holders, and I'm number 166 now. So I'm all the way at the end of the line, so I'm basically getting whatever's left over. I cannot be too picky with my request. So with my schedule, I obviously cannot be too picky. So I ask for locals, stand-ups, 2 days, 3 days. Now, I really do not like 4 days because I just don't agree with being away from my home majority of the week. If we have 7 days in a week, I don't want to be away from my home for 4 days and still pay rent. Like, make it make sense. I'm not trying to do that. So 3 days is my max for me. 4 days are typically for people who commute because they want to make the most of their commute. If they came all the way out of town to come to work, they rather work the 4 days and come back home. But that's not the case for me because I'm not commuting. It's in your best interest, if you're just becoming a line holder, don't be too picky, because if you want weekends off, so does everyone else. And there are many more people that are senior to you that want weekends off, and they request that as well, and they will get it first, because essentially the name of the game is whoever has put in more time within the company gets what they want. So weekends off is not something that you should request. That's something that I don't request. I may request one weekend out of the month, but I'm not always requesting every weekend. Anyways, when I got my schedule for November, I asked for the stand-ups, locals, 2 days, 3 days, and I asked for a couple specific days off. I did not ask for Thanksgiving off. Actually, I didn't ask for no specific days off. This is for December that I did that. Which, let me know in the comments if you guys want me to go over my December schedule with you guys. I'll be happy to do so. With my November schedule, I was very lax and I didn't ask for too much. I asked for the stand-ups, locals, 2 days, 3 days, and of course, I didn't get anything that I wanted. I got basically 3 4 days and 1 3 day. Now, with that being said, with my company and with our system, on the 21st of every month, you have the opportunity to request to drop a trip. Dropping a trip depends on if there are enough reserves to cover for the whole amount of the trip. So if I have a trip November 5th to the 9th, there needs to be a positive number of reserves available to work 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Hope I explained that right. Yeah, if there's one day where there's not enough reserves, then I'm not gonna be able to do it. Or drop the trip essentially. So that's one factor. Another factor is if there is someone senior to me who has a trip that they wanna drop during those same days, they're going to get it ahead of me. So it's really the name of the game. But as far as dropping trips on the 21st of each month, it's based on who puts it in first. So basically, as soon as, I believe we do it at 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So as soon as it's 8 o'clock, you want to put in the trips that you don't want. Now, when it comes to dropping trips, I have learned, and this is from speaking with other line holders and just receiving more games. So all of this is information that I have gathered and I'm giving it to you guys so you guys don't have to go out there and ask people what to do. So when it comes to dropping trips, you basically want to list all your trips from, most desirable to drop to least desirable to drop. You want to log in and drop them 8 o'clock, okay? And you want to put in all of them, okay? Put in all the trips that you don't want to work, because let's say your first one doesn't get offered, then the system will automatically go to the next one in the queue, which may be the one that you put in. And if that's approved, then you're good to go. Now, the system will only allow you to drop 1 trip per day. So that's why I say pick the one that you really would like to be dropped first. And if it doesn't get picked, you already put in the other ones, and it may or may not happen. If something gets dropped, yay. If something doesn't, at least you tried, but put everything in there. So that's what I've learned, to put all the trips I don't want within the system and just hope for the best. Now, I've put in all my trips at 8 o'clock and for October, and literally none of my trips got dropped. Not sure if I was moving too slow. I think I was. I think I didn't get a chance to actually put in everything until 8:15 because I didn't know how to do it. But now for November, I know how to do it for December. So I'm 8:01, everything will be submitted. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. Aside from dropping trips, you can also exchange trips with other crew members, or you can go on open time and exchange trips. As long as it has the same start date and end date, you can exchange trips. It's harder for me to explain exactly how to do this step by step through video, of course, but if you guys want help on how to make your schedule and how to drop trips specifically, please reach out to me, email me at pristinepores@gmail.com, and we can book a consultation and we can just go the step-by-step on what you need to do as far as scheduling and dropping trips to make sure you get the trip that you want, right? So you can drop trips, you can trade trips, you can drop trips with other crew members, right? And you can also put an incentive to have people pick up the trips. And I've actually done that one time. Quick story time, I had a 3-day and my last leg was gonna be going to Columbus, Georgia. We were gonna spend the night in Santa Fe and then have a 5 a.m. flight from Santa Fe to get to Texas, right? And then from Dallas, we were gonna go to Columbus, Georgia and come back. That's gonna be a 2-hour flight there and 2-hour flight back. And I was just ready. I knew that I was gonna be ready to go home. So the day of the 3-day, when the 3-day started, I went ahead and put in, crew posted, hey, I want to give my last turn away to Columbus, Georgia and back. I'm gonna post it. First day, I posted it. I didn't put any money on it. Second day, which is the day before the trip, I put $50 on it. I promise you, I put $50 on it at 8 a.m. It was gone by 12 in the afternoon. So listen, money talks, okay? If you really want that trip going, put some money on it, especially if you're in a crunch, okay? So got that trip removed. Meanwhile, I'm in Santa Fe and the other flight attendant wanted to drop the last turn, but they didn't want to put money on it, so they did post it. So we're in Santa Fe. There ends up being a winter storm or whatever the case may be. It delayed our flight in the morning. So we were all up, ready to go at 5:30. Our flight got delayed by 3 hours, right? So we didn't leave until about 8:30. On top of that, after my Santa Fe trip, I was supposed to have a 3-hour sit. That's another reason why I wanted to drop the trip, because I didn't want to sit at the airport for 3 hours and then work those 2 flights, because I would have been so exhausted because I started my day at 5:30. Anyways, so thankfully I was going home after the Santa Fe flight, so I was on good vibes. However, the other flight attendant who wanted to drop the last turn, now, not only were we delayed by 3 hours, that ate up all of the sit time. So now they were gonna go straight from Santa Fe to Dallas and then work to Dallas to Columbus. So basically no break in between, just 1, 2, 3. And he was so annoyed. The other flight attendant was a male. He was so annoyed because he was like, I should have put money on it because I don't want to work this. And I'm like, yeah, you should have did that. And I'm so glad I did. Like, I am so glad I did, because that delay was so unexpected. But I don't even know what's worse, having a 3-hour sit or not having a 3-hour sit and being delayed by 3 hours, and now you have to work back to back to back with no break. That's not fun. So definitely try your best to put money on the trips. Now, I've been able to exchange a lot of my 4-day trips by doing locals and stand-ups, because again, I'm based in Dallas, and if you guys didn't know, Dallas is a base where over 50% of the staff commutes. So a lot of people who have a schedule of stand-ups and locals, they would rather have 4 days because they don't live in Dallas. So it's easy for me to move my schedule around and exchange with them, because I'm like, hey, I live in Dallas. I don't mind taking all your stand-ups and all your locals, and you take my 4 days because I don't want to be gone for 4 days. So that works out perfectly. Another tidbit in terms of dropping trips, you can drop trips up to 8 hours before the shift. So if you can't get anyone to cover it or pay someone to cover it, or exchange with someone, or if there's not enough reserves to cover that trip, then of course you are responsible for that trip. There's nothing else you can do besides to call in. So yes, you will have to work that trip. However, it's so much better than being on reserve, where we don't have any options. We can't drop the trip. all you can do as a reserve is call in. It's call in or work. And we only get so many absences. So it's like you don't want to waste them on a turn. You know, if I'm going to put in an absence and I'm on reserve, I would rather it be for something that I actually need to call off for, number one, and two, for a 3-day or 4-day trip. Like, I want to make it worth my time. I don't want to call out for one day unless it's very necessary. So be sure to think about that. Now, what is the true benefit of being on reserve? There are a couple benefits. There are people who are line holders who have a higher seniority who do bid to be on reserve. And they will bid to be on reserve because they want specific days off. For example, the holidays are coming up. We got Christmas, New Year's. There are plenty of senior people who really want that time off. So they will just put themselves on reserve and request all the days they want, and they will be guaranteed those days, versus trying to bid for a line and put in other requests such as, I only want to work in the morning, I want to be off by 6 p.m., I don't want to bid with this person. You don't want to put in too many requests in the system. So if you really want days off, definitely bid for reserve. If you have a high seniority and you're at the top, you have to wait till 10 people actually cannot work, or they all got assigned a trip before it gets to you. So that's where reserve can be nice, because there are days where you don't get called. Like I mentioned in some of my videos, there are days that I'm on reserve and I don't get called. So that's essentially a day of being paid to sit at home. The higher your seniority, you can have more days where you're being paid to sit at home. So that is another benefit that I really, really like about being on reserve that I will miss. So the off days and being paid to sit at home, that's nice. That's nice. But what I don't miss is crew support calling me at random times, anytime. My work life was just so ambiguous for so long that now looking back, as a line holder, I'm like, I can't believe that I was on reserve that long. There were days that I would just sit and just be ready for work and not know when I was going to work, when work was going to end, anything like that. Also, when you're on reserve, let's say you get a trip, let's say you get to work, and then the trip is canceled, right? I don't get paid for that. I get paid the minimum, like 4 hours and 12 minutes that we get paid for on a daily basis being on reserve if you don't work. As a line holder, if my trip gets canceled, then I get pay protected, which means, let's say I have a 3-day, we do 2 legs on day 1, and then the rest of the trip is canceled because of a winter storm. I will still get paid for those 3 days as if I worked the trip. So that is a complete blessing, because there has been at least 5 times that I have come to work on reserve from being called, and then there was a delay, a storm, something that happened to where the flights have been canceled and I was not pay protected. So being pay protected is a big perk of being a line holder. Let me know in the comments what matters to you, having the exact days off that you want, or knowing exactly what time you go to work and when you get off. Because that's honestly the name of the game. You have to pick a struggle. Either you have the days off that you want and you don't know what time you go to work, or if you go to work on your own call days, or you know exactly what days you're gonna work, what time you go to work, when you get off, but you might not get the days off that you want, right? You might not get every weekend off. So let me know in the comments which one do you prefer. If you're a flight attendant, are you a line holder? Are you on reserve? How is that going for you? And any topics that you guys like to see. If you have any questions, if you want to talk more in detail about scheduling or anything else, you can definitely email me on pristinepores@gmail.com and book a consultation, and we can talk more about this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.